Welcome into Green Dot Daily. Obviously, no Maria Marino. I'm Tim Kalinowski, but we are still here every weekday at 3 Eastern on the Action YouTube channel. You can also find us on demand. If you missed an episode, maybe you want to rewatch, the All 22, take a look at it again. Coming up, we got Chris RAYBON, we got Nick Martin, and we got Charlie DiSturco. Should be a really, really fun show, obviously presented by BetMGM. So leading us off from the top, Chris RAYBON. Chris, how you doing?
I'm feeling good, man. It's been a great NBA playoff so far, so I'm excited to keep it going.
I will say I totally agree with you, and I'm always comfortable having you lead me off here. You're one of my favorites, and we got Boston and Philly tonight. Game 6, Boston down in the series. I'm a Boston guy. Do you have good news for me or bad news for me?
I got a little bit of both, and this series has been really tough. But when you look at the Action app, there is sharp action on the Philadelphia 76ers as a home dog in this spot. However, if you look at just the historical trends of teams like Boston in this spot, Game 6 road favorites, 33-12 against the spread since 2005. That's 73%. When you have a road team in Game 6 coming off a loss, 28-12, 70% against the spread since 05. And those teams are covering by over 7 points a game on average. And when you have a Game 6 road favorite off a loss, 12-2, it's not very, it's kind of rare, but 12-2 against the spread. So all the trends favor Boston. And Boston has been the better team in this series. Even though they're down 3-2, they have a plus 6.3 net rating, and they're outscoring Philly by nearly 6 points per game. So it's kind of a weird one here, but I kind of would count on Boston to bounce back here just because we've seen them do this over and over again. In the Jason Tatum era, they are 17-7, 71% against the spread, coming off a loss in the playoffs as a favorite. Remember, they dropped that Game 5 last year to go down 3-2 and then won 2 straight. So I'm not counting Boston out just yet.
Really looking forward to sitting there and, watching that and having my heart beat out of my chest for a few hours. Always good playoff time. We went from a home dog. Let's go to a home favorite. Phoenix, slightly favored, -2.5, hosting Denver. What can you tell me here?
Yeah, so this is one where the Sharps are on the Denver Nuggets, and it kind of goes against the trend. So we'll see if the Nuggets can get it together when they go on the road. They're 5-1 against the spread at home in this postseason, but just 1-3 on the road. And they're going to have to deal with Devin Booker, who's just been scorching hot in Phoenix. This postseason, he's averaging about 39 a game on 69% shooting at home in these playoffs. His last 4 postseason games at home, 38, 47, 47, 38. His points prop is 31.5. So might have to look at that. Booker just, he's just been on fire when he's in Phoenix. So I think that's interesting. But this Denver team, when they're not in Denver and they don't have that mile high advantage, they've struggled. They're getting outscored against the spread by over 4 points a game this season on the road. And it's flipped when they're in Denver. So this could be a totally different game than, what we saw of the blowout when Denver was at home in Game 5.
As it always does, man, the NBA playoffs are delivering big time this year. We have star power. We got teams that are interesting. I'll tell you, as a Boston guy, I'll be honest, I love seeing the Knicks in it. It's just more
right.
fun. And the Lakers too, for that matter. I just think it's more fun. And, in fitting fashion, the NFL has to wedge their way into the news somehow, some way. And the story coming out today that the opening night game has been announced. The Lions and the Chiefs, as the Chiefs will raise that championship or Super Bowl banner, rather. Chiefs, they're about a 6.5, 7-point favorite. What do you got for me?
Yeah, I think this is one, and obviously we're a ways out, but I think there's some value on Detroit here. Early in the season, I've written about this ad nauseum, but the market just tends to underrate underdogs and teams that maybe haven't had quite as much success and overrate these, powerhouses like the Chiefs. So historically, we've seen in week 1, when an underdog is 6 plus 6.5 or more, 63% against the spread, going back over the last 2 decades. When you look at week 1 road underdogs that did not make the playoffs the year before, which, a lot of casual fans are going to end up betting in week 1, and that's going to kind of influence the market. Those teams are 75, 47, and 4 against the spread, 64%. And let's not forget, this Chiefs team is amazing. They have the best quarterback on the planet. They just won a championship, but they are not great covering the spread as big favorites when they've been favored by more than a field goal over their last 36 games. Just 10 and 26 against the spread. That is a cover rate of just 28% dating back to November of 2020 in these spots when KC is favored by anything more than a field goal. So I'm probably going to be on Detroit. I know we're a ways out, but it looks like Detroit's going to have the value in this spot.
You tell me a dog has value, I'm all in. The Chiefs like to play with their food. And I will say, a lot of people are, throwing stones saying, it shouldn't be Detroit. Who cares about the Lions? But the Lions are going to be a fun, interesting team. People are going to watch week 1, no matter what, the first game of the year. Like I say, why not? They're an exciting team. Speaking of exciting teams, Bills and the Jets, that is another matchup we know is happening in that first week of the year. It's funny to see the Jets as small dogs. I'm not used to, like, the Jets are good now, right? Aaron Rodgers, Bills, -3. What can you tell me?
Yeah, so this one is one, I probably wouldn't touch right now. The number is pretty close. We got a home dog here, but as if we get closer to the season and the Jets are progressing well, because it could still take some time, and I still don't really truly trust in Hackett. Rodgers maybe a little more so, but week 1. Divisional dogs, like if you don't remember anything else about week 1, underdogs in general, but divisional dogs have just been crushing in week 1, 61, 39, and 2 against the spread, 61% since 05, 65% when they're a home divisional underdog. And as you mentioned, haven't seen Rodgers much as an underdog throughout his career, but he is covering at a 58% clip in those spots. It's happened about 58, 59 times, just under 60 times in his entire career. But as a home underdog, he's only failed to cover once. He's only been a home underdog 8 times. He's only failed to cover once. So take that for what you will. But divisional dogs, Jets, maybe they find a way to get it done against Buffalo, but we are a ways out.
Looking forward to it. And of course, right, NBA, a bunch of game 6s. NFL says, how we do a slow release of this schedule and give everyone a chance to talk about the NFL. And so I guess that's so much for your off season, RAYBON. We're already talking NFL.
Oh yeah, we're getting ready to gear up. We're gonna have a pod breaking down the schedule release and just kind of how the teams did during the draft. So look out for that.
Looking forward to it. Always a pleasure, RAYBON. Thank you.
Thank you.
Green Dot Daily is presented by BetMGM. Use bonus code ACTION when signing up to get up to $1,000 paid back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Finally, we get to talk about some pucks. We'll take it to the ice. I wish we could do this for 30 minutes, but I guess we'll just bring on Nick Martin on for our segment here. Nick, give us a thought on what you saw last night. 2 Canadian teams taking care of business. The Toronto Maple Leafs, they're treading water, and the Oilers, they tie up the series with the Vegas Golden Knights.
Okay, I got a lot of thoughts here. So first off, as a fan, super excited that the Leafs won and that the Oilers nodded at 2, because the Leafs series is the only one giving us good games right now. So, that's crucial. I make fun of the NBA National Blowout Association, and the NHL is not much better right now. It's been pretty awful in round 2. So hopefully some of these final games get a little more interesting.
Yeah, as a big hockey defender, it's been very tough, these blowouts. But the Oilers game last night, I was at a bar, and once I saw the Oilers kind of up big, that's a great game to be at a bar for when it's just a blowout and then you don't have to be attached to the TV. So it worked out for me, I guess. Now, with that, Nick, I'll tell you, we'll move on. 2 games tonight. Let's play a little game here. You're the NHL guy. I love betting the pucks as well, but I'm not as sharp as you. I'm going to give you my 2 picks, and I'll have you judge whether or not you think that's sharp or square. We'll start with the Devils and Hurricanes. Again, talk about bad series, National Blowout Association. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to go with the Hurricanes here just because that's kind of the way it's been. The Hurricanes extremely, extremely dominant. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I got to agree with you there. And I think some of the money that's keeping this close, the Devils have been backed really hard all playoffs long. And in this series, they've closed at they've really big favorites, both games in Jersey. So I actually agree with you. I think that you could argue this game should be wider. My takes on the series have been really bad. I thought game 4 was going to be the one that was finally close, and I was just completely out of touch. But it feels like Carolina's taken over. They have pretty alarming home and road splits too, which isn't something I typically rate, but it's been like 4 years where they're so much better on home ice. So I'm with you. I think Carolina's could find a way to end it.
And as a Bruins fan, I know that Carolina home ice dominance all too well. Unfortunately, they're sitting at minus 132 right now. Move on to Dallas and the Kraken. That series tied up at 2. Look, I'm going to lean the Kraken here just because I don't feel that even, as this series, like I said, tied up 2-2, that the Kraken are getting enough respect. Still very big dogs. Dallas was about minus 210, minus 215 at home the first 2 games of the series. Now we go play game 5. Dallas about 190. I'm like, okay, it's shed it off a little bit, but that's still not enough respect for the Kraken.
Yeah, I think that was an expert level take there. I mean, that's exactly the way I'm looking at it. Seattle just seems like one of these teams we see, like the Canadiens a couple years ago, the Islanders, where they've got the right recipe to hang in and make every game super close. This is not a spot where I want to bet Dallas at minus 195 at all. That just doesn't sound fun to me. This series has been super close. I think the Kraken continue to be underrated. Ettinger hasn't been as dialed as you might have expected, which takes away one of Dallas's bigger edges. So for me, I agree. Seems like the Stars are just way too favored here. And then the other thing is the Kraken have been huge underdogs on the road all playoff long. This is the 6th time they've closed that, or they're going to be plus 170 or greater underdogs. They're 4-2 in those spots so far. So it seems like there kind of is just market disrespect day after day. And I don't really think game 4 proved to me that these teams are that far apart. I think it's just one of those ones where you don't want to touch the Stars at this number.
Yeah, the only thing that worries me is what you were talking about kind of in our production meeting, and that we've seen these massive favorites in some of these NHL games. It's almost like the books are telling us who's going to win. So that is where I hope I don't have egg on my face, but I will stay in that game with a little surprise prop for you. Jason Robertson's got to put a puck in the net at some point, right? He is goalless this series. He's scored about a bajillion this season. I got him plus 105 to score tonight.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I'm not going to say it's my favorite prop from the line, but we've seen him Rupe hints, as Charlie likes to say, and Pavelski really go off together all year long. They were good in game 4. I think that it's very reasonable to imagine that tonight is the night Robertson breaks through. The concern for me is that the number is a lot worse than the other 2. So you are kind of like really tapping into the idea that he is the better and the kind of the more prolific scorer. But at the same time, we've talked about this all playoff. I've kind of let that number thinking and that sort of thing affect, like, sometimes just thinking about what's truly going to happen. So yeah, I'm definitely not opposed to that pick at all.
And without me doing all the picking now, you got to give me something. What are you sniffing on?
Yeah, so I'm sticking with that line. I think you're definitely barking up the right tree. I like Joe Pavelski over 2.5 shots at plus 125. He's been money this postseason. He was my pick to lead the Wild series in goals because he's a proven playoff scorer. He's so hard, like what he does around the net is so hard to defend compared to other types of play in the postseason. I think what he does is kind of more consistently available. So I love the way he plays. I think that he creates so much with his deflections and play around the net, which is really good for this kind of prop. I think that line's going to play really good, despite obviously we talked about liking the Kraken, but you're not really going to shut down that Pavelski line. That's kind of how the Stars go. So I think there's a good chance that line goes off. I don't mind the Robertson goal at all. I think 2.5 shots for Pavs is very reasonable. He's had 15 shots in the series, and that was playing on the second line at times. So yeah, I think that's just a really long number for something he's doing pretty easily.
And Pavelski, a guy who loves to tip pucks, which means you got to be careful when the NHL's the stats are tallying these things up. I could get a grainy video from you tonight showing me that Pavelski did in fact get 3 and then he ends at 2.
There's a good chance. I mean, I'll be I might end up having to add Hintz shots too, which was a pretty tough beat the other night. I think Twitter was on fire with some pissed off gamblers. Hopefully we won't end up in that boat tonight.
Yep, hopefully not. Looking forward to a great slate of games tonight. Hopefully, I hope the Devils can keep us going here. We need more puck. We need more puck. Nick,
we need more puck this round. We need wins. I'm cheering for the teams to extend every round.
I agree. Nick, thanks for giving us the time today. Have a good night.
Thanks, Tim.
What are your thoughts on the Knicks?
Randall is a liability.
Are you a betting man?
No comment. My wife might be watching.
What do you think of Jimmy Butler?
Jimmy Butler's a beast, but from now on, it's fuck Jimmy Butler till further notice.
Dog. I do like Jimmy Butler a lot, but fuck him tonight.
Okay, well, if she's not watching, best bet you've ever won?
No comment.
What is Miami about?
Fuck Miami.
They're going to win tonight.
Book it.
And that's Maria Marino. She is an absolute pro in the studio, on the street. She does it all. I'm sure if she's watching this, she's going, my job's not in jeopardy because this kid, Tim, he's no good. I just stumbled over my words right there. Her job's safe. But anyway, we bring in Charlie DiSturco, my guy from Gamblin and Ramblin. Charlie, how's it going, guy?
Hey, how you doing? I'm ready. You're stumbling over your words, unlike the Gamblin and Ramblin. You've been on fire with that recently, but we'll get practice makes perfect, Tim. Practice makes perfect.
Too nervous, man. I'm too nervous. It's big shoes to fill. But I am here today because Maria, our studio is getting a little construction done to it. So speaking of construction, I thought it'd be a good idea to maybe say, Charlie, what is there a stadium out there that we think could use a little makeover, use a little construction? We don't know what each of us picked. We said in pre-production, we're just gonna come up with a stadium and then say it. So should I go first or you?
You know what? You do the honors, Tim. It's your big day on as the host.
Appreciate it. So as a Boston guy, people are not going to be happy, but it's Fenway Park. I'm not being a curmudgeon. I'm not. And Fenway Park it's a historical landmark. It's cool to say, hey, Fenway Park, that's my team stadium. It's historical. People come here to see that. But at the end of the day, if you're a guy, lives in the area who goes to 20 plus games a summer, it's like, can we just get something a little more comfortable? I mean, most of the seats do not face home plate. If you go to 2 games in a week, you got to have a heating pad on your neck for the next 3 days. That's how hard it is.
I'm pretty not surprised that you went with this. You're betting against the Bruins all playoffs. You're talking about baseball stadium needs renovation. You got to go with the Red Sox. Now we just need to figure out a way with the Celtics. Maybe they lose tonight, and that's like icing on top of it.
Yeah, honestly, but as you can probably tell, it's almost more fun when they're miserable and losing. I mean, as like a New York guy, you can kind of sympathize with that, right? Like when a New York team chokes, it almost makes just the newspaper, radio, Francesa, whatever, that much better.
Oh yeah, no, the talk radio aspect of it definitely gets better, and the opinions get even stronger. But I'm heading out to Tampa, going to Tropicana Field. So speaking of we're talking Boston, we're talking New York. No, we're going to St. Petersburg. I think that Tropicana Field, it looks like a 12-year-old spearheaded the design. It's like they gave this kid a crayon and said, draw a baseball field. And this is what this kid came up with. The ceilings are not even high enough, so the ball hits it multiple times. They lose the ball. They're like, where? I have no idea. It is horrible. The turf is disgusting. The stadium's gross. I've been there multiple times.
It's a dump. It's just a dump.
Yeah, it is. You walk in and you're like, well, it's a dump. And back in the day when the Tampa Bay Rays were coming up, they were a dump. So it made sense. But now that the Rays are good, they need to start making some renovations. They need to get creative. Maybe throw a pool in there like Arizona. You're in Florida. Get some parties going. Now that you're good at baseball, you need to change some things around. And so I think Tropicana needs to be redone.
I think that's a good conversation, maybe for our show. Like, do pools belong in stadiums?
I mean, listen, if it's a baseball game, you got 3 hours. I guess maybe with the pitch clock, it's a little bit faster. You get some fun activities going, and maybe a dive in the pool and a swim.
I just feel like it invites disaster in the pool. Yeah, it just
hey, that's why you have lifeguards, Tim. It's a great job. Maybe you could do that part-time.
The poor lifeguard's job. I mean, I would not want that summer job. I'd rather just be a lifeguard at a country club. Like, why would you ever want to?
free tickets to a baseball game. And you just sit there and watch like 12-year-olds roam around the pool. Maybe some drunk 25-year-olds, but you know.
I guess so. Well, speaking of like ideas, I guess that are outside the box, gonna try a pro transition here. This dog that hits the balls into the things. Corgi is his name. You were telling me about this. What's this dog do? This dog just picks games and it's like on a heater.
He's a corgi, Tim. Corgi. That's
Corgi.
what the dog is called. A corgi. You're talking. I know you're not a dog guy, but this guy, pretty incredible what he's done with this one video, right? He's picking the games on the Warriors and the Lakers, and he's so far said the Lakers would go 3-1 and then blow 3 in a row. And obviously last night, game 5, Warriors take it home. But listen, Tim, if you go to this guy's TikTok page, this dog has picked out every series, and it's not like he gets all these series right. So we're like putting this dog in the Hall of Fame of betting based on one video. It's absolutely absurd. It's like if I just clipped my home run parlay and was like, yeah, this is it. I'm the god of baseball home runs. I know what I'm talking about. My word is true. Like, no, this dog needs to take it back a notch.
No, I kind of agree. Like if you just snapshotted, like I went 4-0 yesterday. I tailed you for 3, had my own NHL pick. It's like, oh, look at this kid. He's an absolute wizard. You know, why aren't I leading off, top shows?
Exactly. And this dog can't even place down a bet. So what? We're taking his word. He can't even bet. What's his social security number? I don't know.
No, I fully agree with that. It's not even cool because you can't bet. It's like that friend that it's like, oh, I told you Tampa was going to win. And it's like, well, dude, you don't bet. So you like put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah.
Like I'd like to see Corgi go through a slump. I'd like to see Corgi not be able to find his way out of a paper bag for 2 weeks and everyone's yelling at him. Like,
yeah, maybe he can whip a nay on the screen like the 13-year-olds on TikTok when they give out their best bets on the games too. Like we're just pulling things out of thin air here with this Corgi hitting a ball, and it's just luck where it lands.
We are very much on the same side here. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to tune in to Screen.Daily show. They just got angry about some random dog on TikTok. It's good stuff. I guess it's supposed to be a pick show. So Charlie, do you have an MLB pick for us? You had a great day yesterday. I tailed a couple of your picks. So thank you very much. I can give you a compliment when it's warranted. Yeah. So good job. Thank you.
Thank you. You know what? I don't usually get compliments on Gamblin Ramblin. So maybe I need to come on Green.Daily with you a little bit more, but I'm going to go Wander Franco over 1.5 total bases today, plus 120. Rays Yankees the win. It's blowing out to right field at near double-digit wins. So I love the chances here with Franco.
I love a good wind. I love a good wind direction, a part of a handicap.
Hey, how about if you love wind? Well, how about this? An expected 15% increase in runs, 14.1% in homers. So Franco, he's a switch hitter, and Domingo Germán is on the mound, so he's going to be batting from that left side. He's going to be hitting the ball to right field with a pull. He crushes right-handed pitching and is split proof. He's hitting 300 this year, and 47% of his hits have gone for extra bases against right-handed pitching this season. So I love Franco's chances here. Germán is in the bottom 20% in barrel rate. He's got over a 400 expected slugging. So I'm going to trust the hot hand in this Rays lineup. Wander Franco's been incredible. I'm sprinkling on him to hit a home run as well, about plus 560. But I think this total bases is a great look here.
I want that sprinkle too, baby. You just mentioned wind direction. I'm all in. Don't care about all the rest of this stuff. But you had a great day yesterday, so hopefully you can keep it up. Always a pleasure having you, Charlie.
Hey, love to be here, Tim. Let's go.
Let's have a great day. And to wrap it up, remember any picks we gave out here on the show with our lovely guests, you can easily reference by following Green.Daily in the Action app. We keep track of them so you don't have to. And always, BetMGM, our presenting sponsor. BetMGM promo Green.Daily. Use bonus code ACTION when signing up to get $1,000 paid back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. BetMGM, the best. I was overseas, came back. So excited to use my BetMGM app. It's one of the best app experiences. And thanks for watching Green.Daily. Obviously, I'm not Maria Marino, but we'll get a real pro in here tomorrow. She'll be back 3 o'clock. Make sure you tune in. Action Network, YouTube, and Action app. That's a wrap.